Psychology is all around you. Every aspect of your life that you do has some kind of psychological impact. It is an understanding of who we are as people, why we think, how we behave in certain ways, and how we interact with others. It also helps us understand why other people do what they do. And I think that's a really important aspect to consider in our lives, because we're always talking with other people. It helps you understand a lot about yourself. While we are growing, particularly as a teenager into an adult, what aspects is normal and what's maybe something that we need to look into. It also helps you gain an understanding of the other people around you. It helps you look into how to become a better friend. It looks into how do you work better inside of work situations, how to interview better. All of these things are influenced by psychology. It helps you to become a better communicator. It helps you understand what people are feeling, and then it lets you become more empathetic of others. And we look at that throughout the whole units 1 through to 4. It helps you understand a better insight into mental health, and also the risks is when we start to see ourselves declining in our mental health. But then additionally, it's the opposite end as well, where we can look into what is the positives. So how do I get from being okay to being amazing? We look into that as well, as to improve both sleep, how to reduce stress, we look at how to reduce anxiety, all sorts of things is quite helpful with the subject. And additionally, lastly, it's probably the most fascinating sciences that you can look at the moment, because it's the fastest growing science that we have. Because it's so new, there are so many things we don't know, and so many things that we're learning each day, that it's quickly becoming the fastest growing science that you can have. A little quick idea as to how broad psychology is as a subject is looking into the careers that you can choose afterwards. So it's very broad. So you guys probably know that obviously there are psychiatrists and psychologists, and these are called our counselling psychologists. They are a big part of it, but certainly only one aspect. You can look into all sorts of things, whether it be from educational psychology, so looking into how education gets improved. All of that is through psychology. You can look into community psychology, so looking into how, as a community, we can make a better way in which people interact, and all the things which is from mental health initiatives to community drives. All of those things is done through community psychology. Additionally, you can look into health psychology, so that's coinciding with the health subjects. Really useful if you're wanting to pursue sports science later on in your university degrees. Additionally, there is sports and exercise psychology, so looking into the cognitive ideas of how people think in order to improve themselves in their sports of choice. However, psychology doesn't just stop there. It goes into every other aspect of whatever business you choose, whether it be from being an architect, through to being a real estate agent, through to being a restaurateur. All of these things require you to communicate with other humans, and that means that having a better understanding of how to communicate with others will help your career choices, whatever they may be. So within Unit 1 and 2, which is Year 11 course, we look into mental disorders. We look into how the brain develops as we age, and what we can do to help us develop in the best way possible. We look into the brain and learning, so we look into plasticity and how it changes as we learn new things. We also look into things such as visual perception, so how do we see and how do we hear and how do we taste the world around us. When we go into Year 12, we start to look into a few more deep aspects, such as what is consciousness? What is it to be myself? So we look into the ideas of personality, and we look into the ideas of what is it to be awake and aware, and what's the differences between that and something like sleep. With sleep, we look into certain aspects such as what is good sleep? What's required for that? What are some methods I can do to try and improve that aspect of my life, which is a challenge for all of us, including myself. We look into things such as phobias and schizophrenia as a mental health aspects. Additionally, we look into the ideas of learning and memory. So that means, helping all of your other subjects as to what is the best way for me to be able to learn, and what's the best way for me to remember things more effectively. To get a bit of a student understanding as to what is good and useful about psychology, here are a couple of the Year 12 students which are currently learning.
I enjoy how it's taught because you expose us to like a range of different like ways to teach it. So it's like we do it in activities and you like show it to us multiple times, so like it can really sink in.
Cool, thank you. And what do you think is important about learning psychology?
It will help in like most or almost all future careers because it gives you like a better, broader understanding of like human interactions.
I enjoy the experiments that we do as a class. So with psychology you learn about people's emotions so you can help your friends when they're not feeling well.
If you have an interest in any of the topics that I've just talked about, or if you have any more questions about psychology, please feel free to come and talk to me on chat or whatever you'd like. Okay, I'm always here to answer any questions that you might have. All right, thank you.